And the winner of the 2015 Telstra Businesswoman Queensland Corporate and Private Sector Award is Dr. Catherine Ball.
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody that's here. You're all amazing. Like every single person I've spoken to, either in the queue for the loos or getting a glass of champagne, I'm just so inspired, and I just think this is such a great idea. And I know that it's in its 21st year, but I can see many more years to come. This is just so ace. Okay, 2 to 3 minutes. Okay. Over there on table 38 are some absolutely amazing individuals. I would like to thank Carmel, my HR manager, for actually forcing me to apply for this. I am imposter syndrome personified, and when someone says to you, "You're the best thing ever, go for it," we all sort of go, "Really? Okay." And so Carmel, honestly, thank you. I wouldn't be here without you, literally standing here. Jeremy, my husband, who I eloped with at the end of July. You're the love of my life, baby. I'd also like to thank Russell and Nikki, who are here, who are my team UAS, Unmanned Aerial Systems team. You're my right hand, my left hand, my brain. I just would be nothing without you. Thank you so much. And to the management team that are here, eyes forward, guys. We've got a lot to achieve next year, so I appreciate your support. Thanks so much. Okay. I'd like to dedicate this award to my mother, who's a breast cancer survivor. She's currently in the UK and she couldn't be here tonight, but I know that she's here in spirit. Her love and her work ethic are with me every single day of my life. She's also my personal Yoda, and in my PhD I actually dedicated it to her with the title, "Do or Do Not, There Is No Try." So I'm obviously not Aussie born, but I'm Aussie by heart, by spirit. I love it here. This is the best country in the world. I'm from yes, but in the rugby we are going to beat you, okay? So I'm from a town called Nuneaton, which you've probably never heard of, and that's perfectly fine. It's a very small, hard-working town in the centre of England, and it's also very famous for being the birthplace of a very famous and successful author from the 1860s, and her name was Mary Ann. Now, Mary Ann had the most success that I've ever seen in authors in her time, and some of her works have been called the best novels in the English language. So if you've ever read Mill on the Floss, or Silas Marner, or Middlemarch, then you'll know Mary Ann as George Eliot. Now, it seems shocking to me that 150 years later, that it was the norm in 1860, when you wanted to be an author, that to be taken seriously and not be writing women's romantic fiction, you had to pretend to be a man. One of her quotes will always stay with me. She said, "It is never too late to be what you might have been." And this is like directed part of my psyche for a long time. The feelings I had around my sense of identity when I was younger were very different from this. I didn't feel that there was anything I'd need to change, even my name, though my surname is Ball. I didn't feel like I needed to change that in order to have my work and my brain taken seriously. We have the feminist movement and all the men and the women who stood up and were counted for what they believed in for many of our freedoms today. But there's always more to be done, and we'd be lying to ourselves if we actually thought that we were living in a true meritocracy. And one day, maybe my daughters will look and be confused as to why I was the only woman in the room when I was doing what I was doing. I'd also like to thank Sir David Attenborough. Bit of a random decision, but he doesn't know me personally. But he was
will do soon.
I hope so. He's an absolute genius. But he was also my third parent, and I think quite a lot of us probably say that in this room. He showed me planet Earth when I was growing up. He allowed me to travel to places out of my little home, places I couldn't even imagine going to, and I fell madly in love with planet Earth. So I studied environmental protection as an undergraduate, and I naturally recognized that I was crazy in love with science and learning about how the world works. Planet Earth still amazes me to this day. Having been encouraged to stay on and complete a PhD, and then with my mother's support, emotionally and financially when she remortgaged the house so I could finish my PhD, I recognize how important it is for people to be able to go to university and reach their academic potential. And this is one reason why I work as a tertiary mentor for the Smith family, And I've got twins in WA that I'm currently supporting through their degrees, and they blow my mind as the genius of these girls. And I support every single person in this room. Like, you should go and be a tertiary mentor for the Smith family. It is just amazing experience for yourself and for the young people that you're working with. And if you need a contact, let me know. I'm sure I could hook you up. But with regard to my day job, unmanned aerial systems, or drones, are pretty big news at the moment for good reasons and bad. But here in Australia, we are in a globally leading position. We are #1 in the world. Many of the projects that my team and I have been working on are literally world firsts. Here in Queensland recently, we flew a few hundred kilometres of road in the space of a day to check that the road was safe for people to drive on it. It's amazing. I'm so proud of what my team and I have achieved so far. Going forwards now, I'd like to start applying our successes to humanitarian innovation. I had 20 minutes with Julie Bishop at the World Humanitarian Summit Pacific Regional Briefing in Auckland, which I managed to convince her that Australian-made UAVs were perfect for post-cyclone and disaster response across the Pacific. So Julie Bishop, I'm going to be calling you next week, now I've got this. So in terms of emergency response, even here in Australia, environmental protection, measurement of change, work in the Arctic and the Antarctic, work on the Great Barrier Reef and across the coral seas. That's where we're focused now. But if there's anything I've learned over the years that I should be imparting, well, I have a lectern and a microphone. You know, this doesn't happen to me very often, so... just a couple of pieces of advice, I think. If you're true to yourself, to your core self, that part of you that nobody else can touch, and you believe that, and you believe in yourself going forwards, there'll be people that don't necessarily agree with you and people that definitely do, but as long as you stick true to your compass, you will find and you will get to where you need to be. The energy you give out is the energy you give back. Feedback, mistakes, or learnings, they are gifts. Use them as such. Eyes forward, courage, mon brave. We live in very exciting times. Thank you so much for this.
Well done.